Hey guys, what's up? It's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, let me pull it up. Let me pull everything up for you. Hi, I'm Emily. Yeah, I'm good. Today's fun. I'm Emily. I am an actor and I'm a singer. Oh, so today's Tuesday. So actually today's very special because today my movie INTERMEDIUM is going to be playing in theaters all over the country at AMC's and Regal movie theaters. I will leave the ticket link below. You can check it out. I am the lead in this movie. It is amazing. Please go see it. It is out today, April 9th. I won't harp on it too much because most of you will be seeing this after it comes out, but just wanted to throw that in there. I posted the trailer last week, so you can check that out. It's like a fun teen movie musical. There's ghosts. Woo! Yes, so I'm an actor, and I also am here on the booktubes. And at the beginning of this year, I was like, I really want to start meshing my love for reading and then like my filmmaker brain a little bit more in my videos. So today, I'm going to be casting the 3 Sarah J. Maas series. This was really hard, okay? Specifically with the men, I found the men very difficult to cast. I feel like this is like a fun topic of conversation too, so if you totally like disagree with any of my casting, or if you totally agree with it, or if you have other options, like let me know in the comments below. I would love to chat about this. Some of these are like obvious choices, some of them are like, oh, I want to like see this person do something new and like give them an opportunity to break type, but some of them are very true to type. I also really tried to keep in mind like the cast as a whole, picturing like, you know, the 3 sisters of A Court of Thorns and Roses, like making sure that they actually look like sisters, picturing like, you know, certain couplings, making sure that they like look good together, like that kind of thing. Let me tell you, being a casting director is hard work. Like casting directors do not get enough credit. I'm so happy that it's going to be a category in the Oscars because it really is an art form, and this was really hard. I always had an appreciation for casting directors, but I definitely have like a newfound appreciation for them. Okay, anyway, getting into the first series, we have A Court of Thorns and Roses. A Court of Thorns and Roses. In the role of Feyre, I have cast Dove Cameron. I think look-wise, she is perfect for the character. She literally looks like a fairy. She's really gone through like many iterations of herself, right? Like she started on Disney Channel, kind of this like Disney Channel sweetheart, and now she's doing this like villain pop, this like dark pop. I feel like she really has shown quite a range. I just feel like she has the sensitivity for Feyre and also the badass for Feyre. She would just do such a good job, and I also just want to see her level up. I feel like she's one of those Disney Channel stars that just is so talented. I want to see like that next step for her, which we have kind of seen with her music. I just think like a juicy acting role like Feyre, like I just think she could do it. Next, I cast Tamlin, and I cast Liam Hemsworth as Tamlin. I don't know how to justify this. He kind of looks like a lion, right? I feel like Liam Hemsworth can straddle that line of like first being the kind of like hot guy that Feyre falls in love with. I think he can potentially like give the ick, and I don't mean that in offense to him. I just think that like he can deliver like both sides of Tamlin that like we would need to kind of go on Feyre's journey with Tamlin, if that makes sense. Okay, next we have Rysand, however you say it. This was really hard for me, like really hard, and I'm not even sold on my choice. I originally wanted to do Ian like the guy from Vampire Diaries. Something also I took into consideration when casting is like the roles that these actors have already played in their careers, and I just thought that Ian from the Vampire Diaries was too close to this character already. You would be watching his character from the Vampire Diaries and not watching Rysand, so I passed on him, and I ended up casting Matt Bomer. He is very charming, like he could definitely give like Prince Charming, but I feel like there's also like a darkness and a humor to him. Like everything he says, I can imagine him saying with a wink, and I feel like that is who Rysand is as a character, and I think him and Dove Cameron actually look quite nice together. He's like suave and very gentlemanly. He physically looks like the description of Rysand that Sarah J. Maas has created. I'm like so nervous to share these because it's like they're such beloved characters. It's so hard to like put a definitive face on them for some reason. But anyway, that's my Rysand. Lucien, I decided to go with KJ Apa. Lucien has the softness to him. Like at first you're like, is he kind of douchey? Is he kind of like not the vibe? And then like his journey is like, oh no, like we love Lucien. And I feel like KJ Apa can definitely deliver that arc. And I feel like him and Liam Hemsworth just kind of like make sense together. He would be able to give that like emotional pull, that emotional arc that Lucien has. Next we have Elaine. I decided decided to cast Lucy Boynton. I believe she was in The Politician. Yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody. She just has this delicate vibe to her, but also is like low-key really fierce, and that is exactly who Elaine is to me. I also feel like her and Dove kind of have a similar vibe. Yeah, I just feel like she gives that kind of sensitivity that Elaine has, but also like Elaine has her moments where she puts her foot down, and I feel like she can also do that. Okay, next we have Nesta. Now, as you guys know, I want to play Nesta so badly, but I am not casting myself in any of these. I don't take Nesta's casting lightly. I've really thought about this. I've weighed a lot of other people. I truly think the only person that I would want to see in the role of Nesta and feel good about it besides me is Sophie Turner. I just think she, like, I look at her eyes and I'm just like, silver flames. I think she can really give that I am closed off, like I am kind of like vibe, but then give that like intense emotional arc. Like I could see her coming out of the cauldron. I can see her when Feyre comes home and she's like, I remember. And I could see her doing like all of the fighting stuff and everything. Like I could just see her in all of kind of like the iterations of Nesta from human to mountain. I see it all. Sophie and Lucy and Dove make a very nice like trio sister-wise. And then I cast Cassian. I think Cassian was the hardest person out of this whole video to cast. I looked at people that like are more known, whatever, and I just like could not find anyone. I ended up going with this Turkish actor called Can Yaman, I believe. And he's just perfect. Like once I saw him, I was like, I can't picture anyone else in the role. He's probably the least known person out of everyone I've cast. Next I did Azriel, and I cast Charles Melton. I love Charles Melton. I loved him in May December. I feel like he got a huge snub at the Oscars, by the way. I think he's such a good actor. I went back and forth, like I cast him in Crescent City, and I brought him over to Acotar. Like I knew I wanted to cast him in something. He just gives like that Azriel energy, or Azriel energy, whatever, however you say it. I say all these characters' names wrong. Next, we did Amryn, and I cast Gemma Chan. I feel like she's played a lot of younger, like naive characters, but I always thought that she could play that energy of I'm ancient and I've been around for a while and I know everything vibe. Like I would love to see her in more of that role. We're breaking type like a little bit maybe, but I think that she could definitely pull it off, and I think she would do such a good job with it. Next, I did Morrigan. I floated a few people through this part. I was thinking Margot Robbie, but I feel like she's kind of the obvious choice, and like she just did Barbie, and I feel like we just see Barbie right now. Like I think we need to give Margot like a little space. Then I was thinking like Blake Lively, but then I remembered Megan Fahey from White Lotus, and I was like, that's it. That moment in that scene where she literally gave like a 3-act play in 2 seconds with her eyeballs, I was like, I have to cast her in this. She would deliver. Like this would be such a breakout role for her. Morgan is like very flirty and very like uppity, but like there's also this darkness to her, and I think that Megan's character in White Lotus had like a similar vibe. I just think she would absolutely slay that. Next, I did Amarantha, the villain of the first book. I cast Rosamund Pike. I mean, I loved her Gone Girl, obviously. Recently saw her in Saltburn, and I just think that she could kind of bring this like taunting, kind of like cheeky, absolutely evil humor to that part, and I just think she would make a lot of really, really interesting choices. I would love to see her in that role. Next, I cast the King of Highburn. This is a casting choice that I think would also be a kind of new type for this actor, but I think he could really pull it off if given the chance. I would love to see Jeremy Strong as the King of Highburn. I think he would take himself so seriously in that role, and it would just really translate nicely. In Succession, which is how most people know him, like he really did not play the person in control and the person with power. I would like to see him do like the total opposite of that, and I think he can, and I think he could potentially be a really scary King of Highburn, and I want to see it. Next, we did Father. I also pulled another Succession actor for this role, Alan Ruck. I just think the father is like kind of a coward based on his performance in Succession. I just think Alan Ruck would absolutely slay as their dad, and he kind of looks like he could be all of their dads-ish, so I don't know. I think it would be good. I could really see him giving both a little pathetic, but also like just giving that emotional journey of what that man went through with Feyre and losing his wife and like all that stuff. And then last, I cast Yanthe, and I chose Evan Rachel Wood because she could be a good character, but she also has this like absolute cold as ice that I've seen her at like in Westworld. I just think she has the total range for that part, and I think she could really just play that like journey of Yanthe quite nicely. So those are the only characters I've cast. So I tried to just choose like all of the main ones. Let me know what you think. Moving on to Throne of Glass. There are a lot of characters in Throne of Glass. There's probably more in Crescent City though. In the role of Selena Sardothian, I have decided to cast Hunter Schafer. I just think she looks like the woman on all of like the old covers. I think she is such a badass. I think she would totally deliver emotionally, physically, the fights and everything. Like, I just feel like once I thought of Hunter Schafer in this part, I was like, I literally can't picture anyone else playing it. I think this casting choice might be the one that I'm maybe most excited about. I just see like the fire, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just saying, like, I see it. I see it from Assassin's Blade through Kingdom of Ash. I see it all, and I love what I'm seeing. If anyone's gonna lead a rebellion, it's Hunter Schafer. Next, we have the role of Chaol. This one I went back and forth with a few people. I forget who, but once I thought of Evan Peters, I was like, literally no one else. Chaol is such a sweet, sensitive person, but he's also strong. He has a lot of emotional moments, and Evan Peters is a very emotional actor. I just feel like he has the sensitivity and that strength to pull it off. I think of his character in like Asylum, for example, like American Horror Story Asylum, and I'm like, oh, that's probably pretty close to how I imagine Chaol's like aura. Next, I did Dorian, and I cast Jacob Elordi. He's a pretty boy, and I think Dorian's a pretty boy, but I think Jacob Elordi is a pretty boy that also has a deep emotional life as an actor. Dorian, you really get to know him. He has kind of that like, oh, I'm a pretty boy, but there's so much more to me vibe going on. And I just think he would do such a good job. Hunter, Evan, and Jacob together like make sense age-wise and vibe-wise, and I could just see them all really vibing out. Next, I cast Sam. As soon as I thought of Tom Holland, I was like, there's no one else that could do this. He's so sweet. His smile and his eye, like it's Sam. He would break all of the hearts. I know it. There's no one else that I could see after seeing Tom Holland as Sam. Next was Rowan, and I still have a question mark next to this one. I really had no idea who to cast, and I ended up casting someone that would be doing something new, and maybe they need to be a little bit younger, but I would honestly love to see Ryan Gosling as Rowan. I think Rowan is a bit of a troll. Ryan Gosling's obviously a massive troll. He kind of like has that humorous sensibility, but also like, you know, Ryan Gosling's played a lot of very like serious roles as well. I think it would just be something new for him. Like, I think it would be a very emotional role, I think, in certain places. If he was like maybe like 10 years younger, I think it would be a no-brainer, but we're just gonna kind of like suspend our disbelief with the age. I think that Ryan Gosling would be an amazing Rowan, and we'd see sides of him that we've never seen before that I know he can deliver on. Next, we have Lysandra, and I obviously am casting Sydney Sweeney in this role. I think she's beautiful and would do a good job with the role physically, but I also think that Sydney Sweeney has that kind of like emotional sensibility that Lysandra has, and kind of like the arc of we hate her and then she like turns into a huge hero. She would do that arc beautifully, and I would love to see her do something like this because I think it's a little different than what she is probably used to being cast as. Next, we have Princess Nehemia. I would love to see Lupita Nyong'o in this role. I just think that she is so regal, and I think Princess Nehemia needs to be like very confident. She has that princess energy, but also Princess Nehemia is there for other reasons as well. Lupita obviously has the emotional capabilities to kind of show what's going on beneath Princess Nehemia's presence. She would slay that role. Next, I cast Manon, and I decided to cast Taylor Momsen as Manon. I don't even know if Taylor Momsen is still acting, but I was thinking about her like later performances in Gossip Girl, and I was like, oh, like she's a badass. She looks a lot like the description of Manon that Sarah J. Maas gave, and I just think she would give Witch so hard. She can play that like cold, like exterior, like really rough exterior, but she also has scenes, like I've seen her do like really emotional stuff, and you do see that later on. Manon has such a good arc, and I do think that I would like to see Taylor Momsen do something more like that. Next, we have Adian, who's the cousin, and I chose Cody Fern. He played like the devil, I think, in American Horror Story. So he has this kind of like intensity to him, but I also think he has like really sensitive capabilities as well. He kind of looks like he could be Hunter Schafer's cousin. I would love to see him play a character that's not so like evil. I feel like he's kind of been hyped into that a little bit, and see him play someone that is brave and soft. I could definitely see him doing something more like that. Next, I cast Asterin, and I chose Alexa Demie. I feel like hasn't been doing a lot recently, and I want to see her do something. Oh, we love Asterin. I love that journey, and I feel like emotionally, like she would absolutely deliver that as well. Next, I cast Gabriel, and I did Chris Hemsworth in this role. He's like daddy, you know? He's here to fight. He's here to be daddy. I think you can kind of give that. I don't want to give it away, but what happens at the end, the sacrifice of it all, I think he would do a really good job with that. I think him and Cody Fern have a nice likeness to them. Next, I cast Fenris. And I cast Kieran Culkin as Fenris, which is probably like an odd casting, but he's sarcastic, he's witty, he's arrogant. I would love to see, he's the father of the wolves. And I just feel like, I don't know, like you would never like expect Kieran to be cast as someone so like actually powerful. He has moments with Maeve and stuff where it's like absolutely harrowing. Like you feel bad for him. And I feel like Kieran Culkin has such a capability of making you feel bad for him. That's all I'm gonna say. Next, we have Irene Towers. I've cast Zendaya in this role. I originally wanted to cast Zendaya as Nesrin, but I was like, you know, we see Zendaya just being such a badass all the time. I kind of wanted to see her in a more like sensitive role. Like I really think she can also pull that off, and I don't think she gets cast in those types a lot. I think she plays like just a lot of like really like hard characters, and I would love to see her as this like gifted healer that has like so much strength and is like so courageous, and she is literally like the hero of the thing in a way. I think it would be kind of like a new type of role for her, and I think she would absolutely deliver from when we meet her in Assassin's Blade all the way through Kingdom of Ash. Then I cast Shay Mitchell as Nesrin. I think of Shay Mitchell and I think of Baze, obviously. I would love to see her in this kind of more like warrior type role. You know, she's from Pretty Little Liars. She's in Dollface. She's in something from Tiffany. I feel like she would absolutely slay that role. And I feel like Shay Mitchell and Evan Peters would be like a really nice duo. And then Maeve. I cannot picture anybody but Cate Blanchett doing that role. She's so evil. I remember watching Cate Blanchett in Cinderella, honestly, and like she's just pure evil. No one is as deliciously evil as Cate Blanchett. I feel like if Cate Blanchett played the role of Maeve, like I would actually be rooting for her because I love Cate Blanchett so much, and I think that it's important to kind of love the villain a little bit. I know Cate would do that. Next, I cast Irawan, who's also, you know, a villain of the piece. I chose Eddie Redmayne for this role. He's playing the MC now. I feel like he's played a pretty wide range of characters in his career. He always plays these like really sensitive characters, and I would love to see him play such a wicked character. There's something about like the twinkle in his eye that I think he can do that like really well and be really creepy. I would love to see him do that role. Next, we have Lady Caltaine. I have cast Emilia Clarke in that role. The role requires so much emotion and so much harrowingness, and I just think Emilia Clarke can literally do anything, and I think she would make you love that role so much. She's such a like integral part of the story, and she's not in it that much, and I think you need an actor that's really going to like be a presence and like help really like tell the story. Next, we have the King of Adarlan. This would be Jacob Elordi's dad. I chose Colin Firth as this character. I feel like he often plays more like sensitive roles and like nice people, you know, like the King's Speech and like Mamma Mia I think of, obviously, but I would really love to see him play like more of a wicked character. And then like the last time we see the King of Adarlan, like kind of, I know he will be able to deliver like those last moments really, really nicely. We can see the absolute contrast with that moment and like the rest of the King of Adarlan's performance, if that makes sense, without giving too much away. And we have a lead, and I would love to see Kaylee, I think it's Spaney, she played Priscilla in Priscilla. I just think she has that like very young, like naive, but like strong kind of sensibility to her. Like I just think that she would knock that role out of the park. I literally can't picture anyone else playing that role. Actually, now that I'm like looking at her, I'm like, she's a lead like no one else. And then I have Lorcan. This is another one where I'm like, maybe just suspend our disbelief a little bit with the age, but I just see Adam Driver, and like part of me is like, he would make Lorcan like kind of funny. If we took him seriously in that role, I think he would be kind of terrifying and absolutely heartbreaking, and I would like to give him a chance. So that is my Throne of Glass cast. Moving on, we have one more. I am doing Crescent City, which there's a lot going on here. Bryce was really hard to pin down, and then I came across Megan Fox and I was like, yeah, I don't care that she's too old. She is literally the only person I can picture as Bryce. She just has like the right attitude for me, the right look. Bryce is very sarcastic and like hard. Megan Fox like checks all of the boxes. Next, I cast Hunt, and I cast Anthony Ramos as Hunt. He was in Hamilton on Broadway, and then he was in the movie In the Heights. I don't know, there's just something about him that he would break your heart in that role, because at first you're kind of like not sure about him, but then it's like, this is again like one of those things I like saw him and I was like, oh, I can't picture anyone else as Hunt. Next we have Rune. So this would be Megan Fox's brother. I chose Austin Butler. I was throwing Austin Butler around a few different roles. I settled on Rune because, why did I settle on Rune for him? He can really give that journey of, is he this like privileged prince brat or is he not? And he could kind of take you through that. I see it. Next, I have Danica. This was also hard, and then once I thought of Cara Delevingne, I was like, oh, 100%. No one else could play her. She's a wild child, and she has secrets. I see her and Megan Fox being best friends, too. Next, I did Lydia. Lydia's amazing, and so really wanted a actress that I felt like could do the coldness and also strip it all back and get super emotional, and I chose Felicity Jones. She was in The Theory of Everything. She would deliver. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of her in a while, and like I miss her, and I think I would like to see her return in the role of Lydia in Crescent City. Okay, next we have Ethan, and I chose Joe Keery from Stranger Things. He just kind of gives that like, I'm a werewolf and I am here to support the woman that I love that I know will never love me back. He just gives that like heartbroken, I am here to unconditionally love you and expect nothing in return vibe. I would really root for him. Next we have Therian, who honestly I just found this character so boring. Like I never cared about his storyline. I would like to see Theo James in this role. I think he would do a fun job. I feel like we just know him as kind of like the from White Lotus, and I feel like he's so much more than that, and so is Therian. I think it would be fun to see him do that. Therian is like a pretty emotional role. Like there's a lot. All of Sarah J. Maas's characters are so emotional. Next we have Baxian. I chose Bridgerton's Reggae Jean Page. He kind of gives like, is he an asshole? But then you kind of like find out, oh, like no, there are things we learn about this character. He would be able to kind of give that journey of like, I'm presenting as one thing at first, and then I actually end up being something totally different. Like I feel like he can play both sides of that pretty well, and I think he looks really good with Cara Delevingne too. Next we have Celestina, and I chose Cynthia Erivo. I can definitely see her playing someone in a position of power, but she also has that kind of like thing about her where it's like she's literally playing alphabet. It's like, are you wicked? Are you not wicked? Like what are your intentions? I'm not sure. I feel like I could see her really like straddling that really nicely with her performance. Next I have Pollux, and I have chosen Taylor Swift's ex-boyfriend Joe Alwyn for this role. He's not a very nice role. I feel like he hasn't, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not super familiar with his work, but I feel like he's mainly played like nice guys. I could be absolutely missing the mark here, but I feel like it would be fun to watch him play just an absolute terrorist. He has such kind eyes, and I really like playing with the like, you look like such a sweet person, but you're such a bad person. I feel like he would just give like a dynamic kind of edge to that story. Okay, next we have Ember, which is Bryce's mom, and I cast Michelle Pfeiffer in this role. I love Ember, and I love where she ends up in the third book, which I won't say, but I knew I wanted to cast Michelle Pfeiffer as something. Originally I had her as Amarantha. Michelle Pfeiffer was like the first real actor that I ever liked. Then I was thinking like, oh no, like I think she would actually be a really good Ember. And she just has that like sensibility of, she's a good mom, but like she's not afraid of her daughter. The moments in the third book are kind of why I chose her. Then we have Randall. I just chose Robert Downey Jr. because it's like, I just wanted to cast him in something. He would just be like a nice little cameo from Robert Downey Jr. Next we have Sabine. I chose Charlize Theron for this role. I felt like Charlize Theron kind of gave that like, I'm a wolf and I will kill you vibe, but also like, where's my daughter vibe. She's so fierce, and I also think that her and Cara Delevingne have like a likeness as well. Next I did Hypaxia, and I cast Ariana DeBose in this role. I want to see more of her. I feel like she just got so much crap for that performance, and that's all anyone talks about. When I think about her performance in The Prom, then I think about her performance in West Side Story. Like, I feel like she could like play that duality pretty well. Next we have The River Queen, and I chose Angela Bassett for this role. I just think of her role in American Horror Story Coven. She's just born to play a queen. I feel like she would definitely raise the stakes for Therion a lot with her performance. And then we have The Viper Queen. Maybe this role is a little bit too much like her character in Wicked, but I would love to see Michelle Yeoh play the Viper Queen. I would just love to see her play such a like, I don't know if like evil is the right word necessarily. She's just so powerful and invokes so much fear. Like, I would love to see Michelle Yeoh like in a role like that, which I think we will in Wicked. She would absolutely kill the Viper Queen. Next we have Jessica. I cast Robin Wright in that role. I'm watching House of Cards right now with Jean-Luc back there. She has that like mysterious vibe. Like, she has a lot of secrets and you want to know all of them. I'm only on season 2 of House of Cards. She spends time in like galleries and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just feel like the world is like makes sense for her. Next we have Lahaba. I cast Beanie Feldstein in this role. I think she would break hearts in the role of Lahaba. I would melt with her in that role. Next we have Micah, and I've decided to cast Alexander Skarsgård in that role because I think back to his Big Little Lies role, and even like in Succession, like he's just really good at playing these really scary, weird, zany, terrifying men. Like, you'd really be on your toes with Micah, and I feel like that's kind of the point. I just think he would do a really good job. Next we have the Autumn King, and I chose Damian Lewis for this role. I actually worked with him once on Billions, and I don't know, I feel like he would just do a really good job. He would be really good at switching back and forth between I'm your dad and you should love me, and then just like be a horrible person. Next we have Juniper, who is like the ballet dancer friend, and I chose Halle Bailey for that role. I feel like Juniper is so like sweet and like bubbly, and who else would play that role? Like, and then Fury, I cast Stephanie Sue, I think is how you say her last name. She was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. She played the daughter. After watching that, I was just like, oh, I want to like see her like do something totally different. And obviously like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, you see all the characters play tons of different people. You know, Fury is like a badass. And there were definitely moments in Everything Everywhere All at Once where like Stephanie showed that badassery. That's my casting. I think I had some really fun takes, honestly. Please let me know which one you want me to do next, whether it's a fantasy or like if you want me to cast like all the Emily Henry books or like whatever. I think I enjoyed doing this. It was kind of exhausting a little bit, not gonna lie. I really hope it was worth it for you. So yeah, let me know what you think about my takes. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And again, INTERMEDIUM is playing tonight, April 9th, in select AMC and Regal theaters nationwide. So again, I will leave the ticket link in my description and the trailer in my description if you want to check that out. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you guys on Friday.